Hello everyone, this is your Digital Super Saiyan 3, back here with another video, and I gotta say, happy holidays everybody! So, as we begin to wind the year down of 2023, one of the things I definitely have been enjoying during 2023 was WWE. And especially the amount of matches WWE has been giving us throughout the year. WWE has definitely been delivering on a lot of great matches we've had so far this year, and a lot of great pay-per-views to boot. I don't think there was a single bad WWE pay-per-view this year. I mean, I gotta say, this was probably the most perfect year for WWE when it comes to their pay-per-views, and let alone their matches. Now, I have not watched a lot of AEW this year, and I haven't seen any Ring of Honor, but I have gone to a couple of indie shows. But today I'm going to be talking about my favorite matches that came from the world of WWE. So these are my top 10 favorite WWE matches of 2023. This is a list that I had been making for a while, and I just completed this list weeks ago. So, here we go. This is my list, and on to it. Number 10, Butch versus Damian Priest versus LA Knight versus Ricochet versus Logan Paul versus Santos Escobar from Money in the Bank. Now, Money in the Bank took place in London in the O2 Arena, and the men's Money in the Bank ladder match kicked off the show. Now, out of all the matches that happened on Money in the Bank during the 2023 edition of Money in the Bank, it was a great show, but my favorite match had to be the opening match itself with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. No disrespect to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match or the Bloodline Civil War that happened with the Usos taking on Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns, but it was the men's Money in the Bank ladder match that stole the show in my eyes. Just all the crazy stuff these guys were doing. I mean, Butch was cracking out a cricket bat during this match. You saw the Spanish Fly by Ricochet to Logan Paul through the announce table, or not the announce table, but through a table that would set up Logan Paul and Ricochet's SummerSlam bout. And in the end, it was Damian Priest who walked away with the Money in the Bank contract and still has the Money in the Bank contract going in to 2024. And we have yet to see Damian Priest cash in with his Money in the Bank contract on what would it lead up to. But in the end, yeah, it was a great match nonetheless to start off the show. Number 9. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, WrestleMania 39, Night 1. So, obviously, I did like WrestleMania 39. Both Night 1 and Night 2 were great in their own rights. But it was the match with Seth Rollins and Logan Paul from Night 1 that stole the show for Night 1 for me. I know a lot of people loved the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and that was a great match as well as Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. But my favorite match from Night 1 had to be the bout between Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. You have Logan Paul coming out first on this zip line, channeling his inner Shawn Michaels. I swear Logan Paul was referencing Shawn Michaels' zipline entrance from WrestleMania 12. And then you have Seth Rollins coming out with this orchestral rendition of his theme song, and the crowd singing along to it as a composer is just doing it. Those were great entrances, but then the match itself. I didn't expect this match to steal the show on Night 1 for me, but it ended up doing it, especially when KSI, Logan Paul's best friend, came out dressed as a Prime Energy drink, and Seth Rollins pulled him on the announce table when Logan Paul did a frog splash through the announce table, putting KSI through the announce table. Logan and Seth really put on a great clinic in the ring, and I didn't expect two matches with Logan Paul back to back to actually be a part of my favorite matches of list. But, you know, kudos to Logan Paul for actually doing something. So yeah, Seth Rollins got the win. Number 8, Austin Theory versus Montez Ford versus Seth Rollins versus Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest versus Bronson Reed from the Elimination Chamber in Montreal. The men's Elimination Chamber match was a title match for Austin Theory's U.S. title, as he defended the U.S. title against the likes of Montez Ford, Seth Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, and Bronson Reed. This match definitely stole the show in Montreal, as all 6 of these guys just put their bodies through hell. I mean, and that's to be expected with a match like the Elimination Chamber. But in the end, it was Austin Theory that ended up retaining the U.S. title, thanks in part to Logan Paul's shenanigans, and this also built up Logan Paul's match with Seth Rollins that would happen at WrestleMania in April. So there's that. Wow. 3 matches in a row that featured Logan Paul. I guess Logan Paul really did something really well in 2023 to actually have me include him. Well, technically, he did cost Seth Rollins the Elimination Chamber match because he wasn't a participant, but yeah, he had been messing with Seth ever since Logan Paul would shockingly eliminate Rollins from the Royal Rumble. So yes, Paul and Rollins' paths would cross ever since the Royal Rumble, and would continue to do so up until WrestleMania. Number 7, now we're skipping all the way to November, and it's the first of 2 matches from Survivor Series, and it's the women's War Games matches. Team Damage Control, Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, the women's champion, and of course Kairi Sane would take on Team Bianca Belair, or Team Bianca, led by Bianca Belair, and along with her, Charlotte Flair, Chauncey, and of course, the man, Becky Lynch. 2023 was a hectic year and had a lot of great women's matches. But if I had to pick my favorite of the women's matches, it had to be Damage Control versus Team Bianca from Survivor Series. A close runner-up would be... The closest runner-up was Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch from NXT No Mercy, and that match was great too. But it was this match from Survivor Series that I think I liked a little bit more. And yes, Becky Lynch did score the winning pinfall for Team Bianca in the War Games match against Damage Control. So, overall, it was a great match. Number 6, Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura from Fastlane. Now, we're going straight to Fastlane, and it's a last man standing match. Seth Rollins defends his World Heavyweight Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura. And Nakamura is targeting Seth Rollins' injured back. And I loved how it's continuing the story from where it left off back at Payback during Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura's world title match, where Nakamura continues to target the injured back of Rollins. You see a lot of weapons come into play for this last man standing match. You see a ladder, you see tables, trash cans, and Shinsuke during the match even busts out a pair of nunchucks? Yes, Nakamura busts out a pair of nunchucks to hit Seth Rollins with, but in the end, despite the pain of his back, the World Heavyweight Champion manages to retain his World Heavyweight Championship. Oh yes, and did I forget to mention this was the match where Shinsuke even started using the mist as part of his offense now? Anyway, number 5. Drew McIntyre versus Gunther, SummerSlam. Alright. To be honest, if I had to pick which match at SummerSlam stole the show for me during the 2023 edition of SummerSlam, I had to pick McIntyre and Gunther in a hard-hitting, smash-mouth, icy title match. Yes, the two of them already crossed paths before at WrestleMania, but that was a triple threat match, if you remember a certain Irishman who we will get to in a sec, was also involved in. Anyway, despite the valiant effort by McIntyre, Gunther manages to retain his Intercontinental Championship in a hard-hitting SummerSlam matchup, as both McIntyre and Gunther beat the living hell out of each other. Number 4. Edge vs. Sheamus on SmackDown August 18th. So we get to a televised match, and my favorite of the televised WWE matches that happened this year was Edge vs. Sheamus from SmackDown on August 18th. This was to celebrate Edge's 25 years in WWE. And it was Edge's last hurrah in WWE. And what a way to go out to end Edge's second run in WWE since he returned in 2020. I mean, this was the best way to go out possible, especially against someone like Sheamus, who helped train him for his Royal Rumble return. To help train with him for his Royal Rumble return. And they were in Edge's hometown of Toronto, and Edge was donning the white and blue of the Toronto Maple Leafs, because they were in the Maple Leafs' arena, or where the Maple Leafs play. Either way, it was as emotional as it was intense. You see Edge's family front and center. You see the emotions running through the crowd as they were invested in during this matchup. But in the end, Edge manages to put Sheamus away with one hard-hitting spear. And the two embraced afterwards with a sign of respect and sportsmanship. It was a hell of a way to go out, and a hell of a way for Edge to end his run in WWE. And yeah, now Adam is continuing his career in AEW. I guess now he's getting another chance again. This time, he's wrestling in AEW as Adam Copeland because he can't wrestle under the name Edge, because Edge is a WWE trademark. He can't use the name Edge, so he has to wrestle as himself as Adam Copeland. Number 3. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor and Damian Priest from Payback. This was a Steel City street fight for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Damian Priest and Finn Balor challenged the duo of Owens and Zayn in a violent and hard-hitting street fight. Like, Kevin Owens gets busted the fuck open in this match. If you didn't think there was blood in this match, well, technically there was, because Kevin Owens got busted open. And yeah, this was actually great to actually see this street fight play out. And we even saw Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens don Penguins jerseys during this match. But in the end, thanks in part to Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day ended up winning the tag team titles off of Zayn and Owens. Of course, Owens weeks later would go all the way to SmackDown, so Kevin Owens is now on SmackDown, but Sami Zayn still stays on Raw. Number 2, and Sami Zayn's a part of this match as well as Damian Priest and Finn Balor, and it's Team Cody versus the Judgment Day from Survivor Series. Now we get to the men's War Games match. This was probably the most anticipated match during the entire year. It's not hard to see why. And actually, I picked Team Cody to actually win this because of, you had the experience factor of Jey Uso and Sami Zayn in this match. You had the unpredictableness of Randy Orton. You even had Cody, who basically was part of his first. This was his first War Games match, but a Rhodes in a cage is a dangerous combination. Just ask Dusty Rhodes or Cody's brother Dustin. They've been in plenty of cage matches, especially the War Games kind. Because the War Games was, if fans all remember, was invented by Cody's father, Dusty. And they're taking on none other than the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre. Oh, wait, I did forget one other crucial element that was part of Team Cody. The World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. Because, yes, Seth Rollins was also part of this match. This match was insane from start to finish. You had JD McDonough and Sami Zayn start off this match. Then you got Finn Balor and Jey Uso came in. Cody came in. Cody came in. Damian Priest came in. You had all these crucial elements, and yes, even the returning Randy Orton being the freshest man in the entire goddamn match, because you see Randy Orton come out. We didn't see him come out with his team, but yet Randy Orton still comes out, and he still manages to give Team Cody the win, and he lets Cody hit the crossroads and get the victory for Team Cody. And as Team Cody was celebrating, their celebration would be cut short with the arrival of CM Punk, as CM Punk would make his WWE return, and the crowd in Chicago went nuts. Because, of course, CM Punk is in his hometown of Chicago, for God's sakes. And my number one favorite WWE match of 2023 is Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre, WrestleMania 39 Night 2. WrestleMania 39 Night 2 did start off pretty slow and did have a few bad matches, but it definitely was a show that got better as it went on. And I gotta say, this match set the tone. Sure, so we got a really weak beginning with 39's first night, but it got better as it went on. And the same could be said for 39 Night 2. And Night 2's triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship was a hard-hitting, smash-mouth kind of affair between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. We saw friendships tested, and of course, we saw this all play out for the Intercontinental Championship. It's probably the most physically brutal matches for the IC title that's ever happened at a WrestleMania, but it was definitely worth the watch. It's definitely my favorite match of the year. So kudos to Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre for giving us fans the best match of 2023 for WWE. Anyway, this has been your Digital Super Saiyan 3, and I will see you guys next time for when I do Sin 2001 in a couple of weeks. See ya!